This is everything. I believe I'm not forgetting anything. Probably am, and hopefully I'll figure it out before that time comes. That is going to go in or on my pack for the most part. Some of it will go on my body. This is my pack. It is a 50-liter pack. That is the recommended size for such a trip. So as you can see, there's a lot here. I'm planning on bringing 2 different types of fly fishing. This is a Tenkara rod. It's a fiberglass, no reel rod, great for streams up to close to a bank and things like that. That's what I caught my golden trout on. And this year I bought this reel. I really like the skin. It's a brown trout skin on the reel because I needed a reel to go with this rod that Dad gifted me. A really nice rod. I've only used that pairing twice, so looking forward to doing that in the Wind River. So let's go through some gear. Let's start with the tent. The tent that Colette and I will be in. This is the one I used in the Wind Rivers last year. Is a Kelty. It's an all-in 3, meaning it's a 3-person tent. Comfortably, it's a 2-person tent, but it's the one I use solo. It weighs less than 5 pounds, more than 4.5, somewhere in that neighborhood. Right now this bag contains the tent, the rain fly, the stakes, and the poles. When I pack this, and we'll get into more detail later, when I pack this tent, it will come out of this bag. The poles will actually go on the outside of the pack, and as well as the stakes. The poles and the stakes will stay together, and they'll go on the outside of the tent. And the tent and the rain fly will actually go in the tent. We'll go more into detail on that when we go into how to pack your pack. Next up, you got to have something to sleep in. This is my sleeping bag. It is a Big Agnes. It's a synthetic down sleeping bag. It packs down pretty good. Real down will pack down a little bit even more. Real down costs a lot more. This is a 20-degree bag, excuse me, which means I'll be chilly at 20 degrees. So the temperatures in the Wind Rivers, low temperatures at the point that we'll be going in will be the lows around the 40s, probably in the low 40s. When I was in last year, the coolest that I experienced was on my first night in, and it got down into the upper 30s. The rest of the time, it was low 40s, mid 40, I think is what it was. So you go on a decent sleeping bag that's also, it's light, packable. We'll get into more in that as well when we get to packing it. When you got a sleeping bag, you know what you need? Something to sleep it on. Because it smacked me in the face. Didn't hurt. Might have been entertaining. We'll see. Maybe I can slow it down. Who knows? Something to sleep. I'm already thirsty. Where is my Dr. Pepper? Found it. Okay. So when you got a tent, you got your shelter, you got your sleeping bag. If you're going to have a sleeping bag and you sleep right on the ground, that's going to get chilly, and it's probably going to be uncomfortable. Some rocks or some roots, or it's just not comfortable. So you need a sleeping pad. This is my sleeping pad. It is a Sea to Summit, mostly self-inflating. You have to top it off. It's got what they call is a nice R value, meaning it's going to protect you from the ground. The higher the R value, it's going to protect you from the cold ground even more so. Obviously, it's one of those things, the higher the R value, the more expensive they are. But again, just like anything else, you want to be mindful of how much your pad weighs. That could be something that is rentable as well. Not sure. Something that's certainly worth looking into. This, you will want a pillow, and this is my pillow. This is a Sea to Summit, very light, very small, but it blows up into a pillow, and I really like this a lot. And I have an accent popping out, I do. As the bag pops out, my accent gets thicker and thicker. It does. So anyways, let's give you a show. What's cool is, maybe you're familiar with these already or not, but a lot of the air pads, sleeping pillows, things like that you have to blow up, they've got these new contraptions that you can blow into and the air won't come back out. It's a lot, it's not like those things that you pull up and you have to squeeze like on your beach balls or whatever. All right, that's good for now. And what's cool, also a quick added feature about that as well, is it help, not only does it help you inflate, but let's say you blow it up as tight as you can get it. You know, you keep going. Whew. All right, so you got it. You know, you're going to bed. Oh, okay, that's a little too much. So you just pull that one little bit off. So you get that. See, no air's coming out. If you push on it, did you hear that? Soften your pillow up a little bit. Need a pillow. Again, size, weight, as in everything. I lost my pillow, it's floating away. Is important. I will say some people get creative with their pillows. They might have a jacket that they can ball up and maybe stick, you know, in like a shirt or whatever, or a stuff sack and use that as a pillow. So there's options instead of spending money on pillows and or anything else. There are options. Yes, they are. Shall we continue? We shall. Hey, sit on it. This year, for the first time, thanks to a Christmas gift from my wife, I will have a chair in the Wind Rivers. It's quite a luxury item. It is a very light chair, Chair Zero with a high back. So I'm bringing this. Last year did not have a chair. What was my chair last year? I will show you. This is a foam pad. Let me take this strap around it. Just a very thin foam pad. Some people get this and this is what they'll use for their sleeping pad, depending on the time of the year. I actually used it like if I was sitting on a rock or a log that might make my butt hurt or whatever. I'd get it out, fold it up kind of like this, and now you've got a half decent, pretty squishy, comfortable chair to sit, you know, something that you could sit on, not a chair that you could sit on if it's a rock, again, or a log, or whatever the case may be, or even the ground. Fold it even more, gets even more luxurious. So cheaper than a chair. Again, not a necessity. A lot of people you'll see, and I do take this often. One of these sleep pads. This is a Thermarest one, I think. Yeah. And you can use this not only to sleep on, you can also use it to just sit on as well. A popular thing, and I've done this before I got the chair, is you'll have your bear bin. See if I can grab it. Okay, so you got this, and you got your bear bin. You do that, you got a nice comfy chair to sit around by the campfire or whatever. You know, so one of the key things about gear and considering what to bring and what not to bring is, can it be multi-purpose? This is something that's certainly multi-purpose. As I just showed you, it could be your chair on top of a bear bin or just on the ground. You can also use a sleep pad. It also, if you do have a, like I'll bring my blow-up pad, and when it's been colder, I would also bring this and throw it underneath that for even more comfort and protection from the cold ground. So there's options there as well. These are really cool. Camp shoes, something lightweight that you can crunch just down in your backpack. Some people will dangle them from the outside, use a carabiner, so you're hiking and they're kind of dangling or whatever. So that's an option. The reason, and not everybody brings it, it's also kind of a luxury item, but you know, especially on lengthier hikes, like we'll be doing when you get to your end and you've got your campsite and you're ready to chill and have dinner, it might be kind of nice to get out of the shoes or the boots that you've been in and let your feet air a little bit. Also, if you've come across, and we will come across, water crossings in the Wind Rivers, and if it's too deep, let's say you have waterproof boots, but the water's too deep. Well, don't want water to fill up my waterproof boots, so you could take them off and throw those on, or you could go barefoot, or whatever the case may be. So, and again, it's something nice to chill, to have something in the at the campsite to let your hiking shoes or boots kind of air out. Which kind of leads me to the next point. I will be bringing 2 pairs of socks. When I get to camp and I would put in my camp shoes on, I will also take off my socks. This pair of sock will be my camp sock, or this one. It'll be a choice that I make, but these will basically be my clean socks the entire time, unless there's an emergency and I'll lose one of my other socks. But so when I take my regular hiking boots off, I'll also take the socks that I've been hiking in, let those both air out, and I'll put one of these on with my camp shoes. Cool. Since we're talking about socks, let's talk about the rest of the clothes. Don't bring a lot of clothes. I brought too much clothes last year. Brought a beanie, used it the first night when it dropped down to just below 40 degrees and it was windier that night. It may not come this year. Really like this beanie. It's my favorite beanie because I'm going to be bringing a buff, which packs down even smaller, and it's got multiple things you could do. You could, basically, you may be familiar with it, but let's give a quick condensed. And this is a Grand Teton one I like because I love the Tetons. So they have different styles. Not something that you need to get, but it can be like a scarf. If the bugs are bad, you've covered your mouth. If it's kind of chilly, you're covering your ears. You could do this, you could do that. There's a lot of different things that you could do. And it's very comfortable. So because of this, I may not bring that. And that's kind of the key. If you have something that's kind of repetitive, don't bring it. And as far as pants and shirts, what I wear in on day one will be the primary thing that I wear. I will also bring a camp shirt and camp pants. Both of these are multi-purpose. They are base layers. These are my pants. This is a shirt. It's a Smartwool shirt. Sometimes I'll wear it just as this, but like if it's chillier, I could wear this under the other shirt that I'm wearing to hike, and same with the pants. I can wear them under my hiking pants, and if I get warm, when we take a break, I can adjust. So, and that's it. But basically, so these would be something that I hang out at the campsite, that I sleep in if I'm chilly, and in the morning, I put my dirty clothes back on. Like I said, same thing with the socks. Something that I highly recommend that you bring, but you won't be putting it in your pack. I guess you could put it in your pack, but it's not meant to be in your pack. That would be a hat. It could be a hat like this, because I am Mac Daddy, or a baseball hat, or whatever. One of the reasons that you're going to want to have a hat is protection from the sun, maybe some rain. Additionally, it pairs well with one of these. This is something that you need to have, and hope that you do not need it, and hope that you don't even have to think about using it. It's a head net that you put over your head. Best used if you have a hat on, so it'll hang further away from your eyes and your nose and your mouth if the mosquitoes are really bad. I had one when I went to Wind Rivers last year. Thought about using it briefly, and it was more for gnats than mosquitoes. So, but again, something that you're going to want to have, because if you look at the Wind Rivers reviews, they're like, hey, you might have to deal with some mosquitoes. This, and it pairs well with a hat. Since we're talking bugs, am I bugging you? I don't mean to bug you. If you know, you know. This is a handkerchief. It's a Ben's handkerchief. It's orange because, it helps you be seen in case there's hunters out there. But it's been treated to help keep mosquitoes away from you. And it's supposed to last up to 20 washes. Pretty cool, but, I actually will use a Sawyer spray and give it another coating before we take off. And again, I will put this on the back of my backpack because if there are mosquitoes, if there are gnats and whatnot, protection from the back and I'll have it on my hat. I will spray my backpack. This stuff will spray my hiking clothes. I'll spray the tent. This is before I go, and maybe even once again at Melissa's before we take off to Pinedale, because you want to try to make sure that you're enjoying the experience as much as you can. And if mosquitoes or gnats are a big issue, then they're going to be there. Well, so try to minimize that as much as you possibly can. So, but we'll not be taking this whole can. Well, I will not. We'll take some bug spray, and you may already have your favorite. You may have some in the cupboard that you're planning on taking. I used Ben's Scent Free, and again, scent free is very key on toothpaste, on everything. You don't want to be smelly. So, deodorant, you get the point, right? So this is scent free. You can find it at Cabela's, REI, Quest, Amazon, probably Walmart. You get the point. Readily available. And this is what I'll use for like spraying it and rubbing it on my arms and my cheeks and my necks and stuff. It repels mosquitoes, chiggers, ticks, as does the Sawyer. If you do get bitten, let's hope we don't. I fell in love with this last summer on my trip, and it wasn't because of the Wind Rivers. It was because of my overnight in Missouri. Got a lot of spotter bites, and this thing helped ease the itch pain that you receive pretty quickly. Itch Bite is what it's called. This is one I've been using. This is the one from Missouri. It's about out, so have already bought another replacement for the upcoming summer trip. Protecting ourselves from mosquito bites and being overly annoyed by them is part of, taking care of yourself and your safety while you're in the Wind Rivers or enjoying a backpacking trip like this. And speaking of safety, this is a medical kit. It's a highly rated small one. It's not very expensive at all. I've added a few other items. One of those Mylar, what are they called? Those blankets to keep you warm. A few small ones in there. Back a patch in case you're having back pain. I've added one of those in there. There's a titanium whistle that's extremely loud in here, but pain meds, gauze, Band-Aids, some key essentials in this. And I've got one, but it's probably important if somebody else had another first aid kit as well. And since we're talking about safety, the biggest bug that you might see come in could be a bear. Don't expect them to see. You probably won't. But bear spray. This will be on the pack, on the body somewhere near, so you can easily access it in case you do get to dance with a bear. Don't want it going off mistakenly. That would be bad. I'm actually going to turn this one in when we go on this trip before we go out and get a new one. I do recommend that at least one other person have one as well. More on safety, another thing that will be on the outside of the pack is Mazzolio. This is a satellite tracking device. It allows us, because there's not going to be any cell service in the Wind Rivers, you're going to want to put your phone on airplane mode and power saving mode as soon as we hit the trail. It will become a camera. This connects through satellite. Actually will allow me to track weather for where we specifically are in the mountains, and communicate with the outside world. There's also an immediate 911 feature in case something happens and we need medical assistance or whatever the case may be up there. Hopefully that's a button that is never used, but it will allow us to talk to my spouse, who will be there with me, so I won't need to talk to my spouse, but we could talk to our parents or something like that. So this will be on the outside of my pack as well. Does everybody need one of those? That's a good question. No, I don't think everybody needs one of those. My initial thought is one's enough. If there's the potential that, and there probably is, if we split up, it might be one of those things that, and it is one of those things that you can rent, that maybe we get one other one just in case. So check. You ready? Okay, let's continue. That is an electronic device, that Zoleo. The battery power will be determined on how many times I do check the weather or how many messages I do send out. It lasted pretty good. I remember charging it on, I think, my second night, and it wasn't like it was low, but just wanted, hey, let's boost it up because I wanted to start using a little bit more of my battery power. My charging banks. That's what's in this bag. It's good to have all that kind of stuff organized. This will have my power banks, and I bring a few because of that device, because I will be taking photos on my phone, because of my GoPro that I'm taking. So I have a few, and the cords and GoPro batteries will go in this bag as well, so I can easily find them. So I will have the GoPro, which is being used on a GoPro tripod. This has like a chesty. I will have that stuff. The chesty might be in my backpack. Often it might be on my, imagine that, chest. But the GoPro gear, I'll actually have in my fanny pack, unless something changes. And that goes sometimes above my fanny. Well, not while I'm wearing the backpack. It goes above, in the front. We'll say that. But yeah, so I keep I'll keep a snack, but mainly that'll be my GoPro stuff, so not in the pack. Speaking of keeping things organized, I have another bag here. They call them ditty bags, where you throw organized items into a bag. This one is like things related to light, fire, and temperature. See how that's all kind of related? So I have a headlamp. This is a USB powered headlamp. It's bright. Just like you, very bright. Look, you get brighter and brighter. Just like you do, just like the flashlight did. Also in here is, I have another small handheld flashlight, or it can be clipped to like a baseball cap. Look at that, you being bright again. You're so bright. This is kind of cool. It's got not only the handheld, it also does a side, which I like doing that and have it dangle in my tent. It kind of sets the mood, you know, keeps you cozy. And then as you turn it off, there's a little glow to it, which won't last forever, but it's kind of cool. Also in here, I have a canister of waterproof, lightweight matches, along with the strike thing on there. I have a lighter with duct tape wrapped around it, because duct tape is great it could start fires. You can use it as a fire kindling type source. It is also could be used to patch a hole in a jacket, a hole in an air mattress, a hole in a tent, a hole in a sleeping bag, a hole in a jacket. It can fix holes. It can also fix a hole in your finger if you're bleeding because you've cut yourself. It could be a Band-Aid if you don't have Band-Aids on you. Duct tape does a lot of things. What else do we have in this magical bag? This is a fire beaner. It looks like a carabiner, but it's called a fire beaner because, ooh, sparky. I will use this often to start my propane fuel, my stove. We'll talk about that in a moment. This is a little thermometer. It's nice to know what the temperature is. I also have in this bag an emergency type bandana. It has like it's some medical information on it. This corner says high altitude sickness, and kind of so it helps you determine what a problem is. Plus it's nice to have a bandana if you're moving stuff like a pot. This cook, don't use this often, but I've actually used it on like 2 of my last 3 trips, backpacking trips, including most recently in the Red River Gorge. It looks like a big antenna from a car or a straw. It is kind of a straw. It's to gas blow into the middle of the fire. You know how like you get it down and blow in a fire? This You don't have to put your face into it, or you don't have to blow in the smoke. And it kind of helps like when it's damp. So certainly not something that you need to take. I do recommend a lighter or something to start a fire with. Duct tape is a good thing to have as well, but certainly but I've got us covered for matches, but certainly a headlamp or a flashlight is needed. You don't need to bring a thermometer. But the importance is organizing what you have. Should we talk food? Are you hungry? I'm thirsty. Let's talk about water first. As I mentioned, I've got the Katydyn 1 liter water filter. So basically the way it works, you take the filter off, scoop up the water, put the filter on. This is the condensed version of it. Open it up, you can drink from it, you can fill it up. I can drink from it often. I'll also fill this one up. This one will be on, this is a dirty bottle, this is a clean bottle, so I'll only put clean water in this. It'll be on my backpack, so I'll be like, kind of cool little contraption. I like this a lot. When we found camp, I'll fill up this. This is a 2 liter one. That way we'll have extra water for camping and things like that. I recommend for you all, have at least a Katydyn filter with its associated 1 liter bag, or you could create one with one of those kind of bags. I need a drink. Because I'm talking about water. But drinking Dr. Pepper. There's the Sawyer Squeeze. There's others out there. Not saying you have to get this one. It's the one I use, so I like it a lot. I also have an extra filter on this 2 liter bag, so I'll be able to fill up multiple bottles, or like I said, use it when we're cooking. So I recommend, you do need to get a filter, and I do recommend getting, it could be a Smart Water bottle, it could be a Nalgene bottle. This is a Canuck bottle. I like it because it collapses as you drink it. See if it'll do it. Well, let me just, so see, it kind of collapses, and you could, whatever. So like I said, that will actually be, that bottle will be going on the outside, so I can drink from it. You may want to choose a water bladder. What's a water bladder? You probably know what a water bladder is. So quickly, a water bladder is this. It goes on the inside of your pack. This will have another hose that then will run out of your packs, and it'll come over your shoulder, and you'll be able to sit there and drink it. Obviously it holds 3 liters. You could probably get a 2 liter one for the inside as well. And the same thing applies. You would still need a filter, because you're going to need more than that during the trip, and you could filter into this as well if you wanted to do that. So filter, got to have that. So let's talk some food. This is the freeze-dried stuff. Maybe you're familiar with it. I have not tried this. There's all different types. I recommend Googling around and seeing, or if you're at Cabela's or Walmart or whatever, a place that's that sells them, Amazon, going to see what's out there that seems tempting for your palate. You'll need a few of these, and all of these will go into your Bear canister. Bear canister. I have a Bear Vault style Bear canister. This is the Bear Vault 350. It's an absolute rentable product, and I recommend going that route unless you're planning on, continuing frequently or often enough to make the expense make sense. But yeah, it's something that you can rent from REI or other places as well. Probably need to reserve it, but so all of these will go in there. To do so, these will need to be repackaged. That's what I was talking about at the beginning of the video, about making it an event when we're in Melissa's, we could have an evening, not an evening, shouldn't take that long, take an hour or whatever, where we all gather together and repackage this stuff into Ziploc bags, because that will allow you, because this is all the extra packaging, that will allow more to fit into this. Now, the good thing about these packages is they have that insulating power, we'll just call it that, with built into the bag. So if you take them out of that and you put it into a Ziploc bag, you lose that. So to combat that, you get one of these. And this isn't a necessity, but I do believe that converting these into a Ziploc bag is a necessity for how many meals that we're going to be taking, unless you want to have an even larger bin. But then you're adding. But the other thing about taking this out is you're reducing your total weight as well. This is an extremely lightweight thing, and just having two, maybe three, will suffice us. Not everybody needs to get one unless you want one. But it's basically a bag that once you start rehydrating your meal, well, since you don't have the power, the insulating power of that, becomes your insulator. So you take your Ziploc bag with the hot water now in it, and you put it in this, and this replaces this. I could have just said that. Then you'll set it off the side, let it do its business. It'll tell you for how long that you need to do. So back to the Bear Vault, I've got it so it's not hard to take off at the moment. It's got a couple tiny latches, so you can see there are multiple meals in here. I believe that one and this one might have been from Melissa. This is a roasted chicken and white cheddar biscuits dumplings. Look forward to having that. Ramen. This is like a beef biscuit, like a MRE type thing. So on and on and on. So you can see in it, it's a really hard product. So see, I could, but I think you can understand why you would want to repackage it. A towel. I'm not going to take it out. I have yet to take this on a trip. Actually, no, I take that back. I took it to the Wind Rivers last year, did not ever get it out. And haven't, I don't think, taken it on a backpacking trip yet. I got it because of the potential of swimming in an alpine lake. It's something that's on my checklist to do, so it's probably going to come with me. A towel, totally up to you. I don't think it's totally necessary at all. It'll take up space and weight, but again, totally up to you. Everything is totally up to you. Another one of those totally up to you type items, trekking poles. Some people use them, some people don't. Some use one, some use two. I use two for most of my backpacking parts of my time in the Wind Rivers. There were times when I was just day packing, I'd already set up camp and was like climbing around. I would just use one, and I often take one when I go hiking. Some of the reasons is to help balance, especially with like water crossings. In the Wind Rivers, you're going to be going over some big rocks, so it's kind of nice to have that extra thing you could pull up on, or on your way down, give you some more leverage going down when it's bigger than your normal stride. So something to think about. If you do, I highly suggest this one, recommend these, because when you look at trekking poles, there's something that can get expensive, but these are called Cascade. You can look them up on the Amazon. I think they're like $22 at the moment. So worth something to look at. Since we've talked food, should we talk how do we cook that food? Well, let's not talk about, okay, maybe a little bit, but what are the tools, what gear? And I will actually provide the stoves, but let me show you what they are. I'm now going to show you what they are. Basically, my main kit now is This is my pot that I use to boil the water. This is the fuel. This tiny thing is the stove. You want to see it? Okay, real quickly. I believe, at least at one point, it was the smallest and lightest such stove, the BRS stove. I have different types. I have fire maple and another one, I'm not sure what it is. So basically you just unwind its arms. Sometimes easier said than done. All right, unwind its arms, so it looks like that. Then you will take your lid off your fuel canister and it just screws on there like that. Once you take the orange covering off your pot, the pot will sit on there, and then you use that fire beaner or a lighter and light your fuel and boil your water. Cool thing about packing these is they'll pack the fuel, and the stove will pack in the pot. And again, it's a titanium pot. I do recommend getting something like this. This is the Tote 750. I think it's about 25 bucks. Might be able to find it on sale cheaper than that, but we'll all need something to boil our water on. We'll have to take turns with the stove. I'll have 3 of them. If you want to get your own stove, you're more than welcome to get your own stove, obviously. It's up to you. We are almost done. But once you've boiled your water and put it in your dehydrated food, and you've got it in here and you're ready to eat it, gotta have a utensil. This is the long handle, because Ziploc bags, or these kind of bags especially, are deep. So they've created these spork type things with the long handles. You don't have to do that, but bring something to eat with. Highly recommend that. Also, I do bring a knife. It's sharp, it cuts things. I used to bring one that I could attach to my belt, but in the winds, and in some trips I still do, but in the winds I didn't feel like that I needed that big thing. So just something small helps with cooking and other things that you might need. Toothbrush and toothpaste, you'll want to bring that. I have some toothpaste that's scent free. They're actually little tablets in a small thing, and I actually have them in a smell proof bag. This will also go in your bear bin. You'll also need to have a garbage bag to stuff that you don't eat, or the Ziploc baggies, or whatever the case may be. That will need to fit in your bear bin as well. The trick is your first day meals, don't put them in your bear bin. That'll be wasted space because you're getting them out. So it'd be great to have that not in your bin. That way you don't have to get it out for your first meals, or at least for your first breaks. So I think that covers pretty much it. Looking forward to the trip. Any questions on any of this? If there's anything that I forgot, I'll let you know, but that basically covers it. If you don't feel like you need to get it, maybe you don't. And if you have a question about it, do. But again, I think I pointed out everything that's the essential. Obviously, tent, sleeping bag, sleeping pad, water filter. You'll want to have a battery bank, toothbrush, those type of things. A lighter, first aid kit, and a backpack. A couple other items. I do a rain jacket. The lightest rain jacket that you have would be great. Also, if you want to bring a light jacket or something in case it does get cool, that you could layer up. That's the key. Layering with backpacking is the key. So when it comes to what you're wearing, no jeans, and avoid cotton. That stuff will absorb the moisture and hang on to it forever and get heavy and kind of really bring a downer on your trip. So get things that wick moisture, that dry quickly. You get the point. So Probably already know all these things. Now I'm rambling. Thanks for watching.